Hello and welcome to the Coach Judy Variety Show, a show that cares about you because we provide you the facts so you can act and achieve success, whether it is in your personal life or your professional life or in dealing with business. We care by giving you so much information on our shows that I wish we had our shows lasting longer. But today we have a very, very exciting show. It's a show that I believe everybody should listen to because everybody has been hurt in one way or another, whether it be intentionally to hurt somebody or unintentionally, because we lack an understanding of what the other person may be thinking, feeling, or what they are going through that forced them or caused them to act or behave in the way they did. I'm excited to bring back to our show for our segment, Lightening Up, Dr. Brian Greer. He is a psychiatrist. He works with children and he does a lot more. So what I'd like to do is one thing is to let you know, number one, if you've got a question, a comment, please text me at 561-441-8557. I'd like to have your questions so Dr. Greer and myself can answer them, so you have the facts, so you know how to deal with difficult people and everyday people when things are just a little bit off kilter and you get angry. So I'd like to welcome my friend, Dr. Brian Greer. I'm not Greer, I'm sorry. I got that caught up with somebody I knew years ago. Brian Greer. Welcome, Brian.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Judy. Thank you for having me on the show. And since we're talking about forgiveness, I want to ask forgiveness. I didn't know is this a mask on show or a mask off show? What I'm discovering, I've never worn the glasses and the mask. I mean, the thing is with your, you can actually fog up your glasses. The thing with a mask is it offers several different looks. You know, you can have the mask on with the glasses. You can have the glasses on and the mask off. So anyway, so this is me.
Well, I mean, while you say me, I just want to interrupt and say I want to make sure I give out the phone number, as the Marion, as you know, goes on so many different things. So I want to make sure I gave you the other information. The text number is 561-441-8557. It is also the phone number on your screen. Please text us at any time so that we can give you the questions that you want answered to Dr. Greer. So,
thank you. You know what? Okay, Judy. So are you gonna let me talk? Is this the way women usually are in your guys' life? You know, she's not letting me talk. So now she's gonna let me talk. Thank you. I'm kidding.
I am letting you
I'm
talk.
kidding.
You got the floor. Although we are sitting, you got the floor.
But if I go down on the floor, then they can't see me. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm putting the light on because this is an example. This is a reminder to lighten up. Now, I wanted to talk about forgiveness, which, you know, they don't really teach in medical school about forgiveness, but I have come across in working with in my work with marital therapy, in my work with family therapy, and in some of my work with individual people, and in my work with alcoholics and addicts in recovery, forgiveness, the process of forgiveness is extremely important. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it on this show is the title of the show is Lighten Up, and I believe that we take things too seriously, but this is a very serious topic. There are families who are in crisis and go on in crisis for years because they don't understand the importance of forgiveness. There are people who have died, who have committed suicide because they struggle with the ability to forgive. And of course, the most important person to forgive when there's trauma in the past, when there's mistakes in the past, the most important person to forgive is ourselves.
Well, would you agree everything starts from ourselves in the first place?
Yes. Well, the thing is, actually, if you have a problem with resenting someone else, there is almost always an element of that you're not forgiving yourself. And what you see, you know, there's a saying we say in recovery a lot: if you spot it, you got it. In other words, if you see something in someone that bothers you, that makes you feel resentful, that makes you struggle with forgiving someone, it often is because you have that characteristic or trait yourself. You see someone who comes in late all the time, they're always late, and you get annoyed and you get this feeling in your stomach, oh my God, why can't they be on time? Well, look, let me look at myself. Am I on time? Do I have a problem with lateness? It's always about looking at ourselves, because I'm going to tell you a beautiful version of the Serenity Prayer. A lot of people know the Serenity Prayer: grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The best version of the Serenity Prayer, and you can all, I mean, this is worth the price of the show. God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one that I can, and the wisdom to know that it's me.
That
I
is
am the
fantastic.
only person that I can change.
And I want to say that is fantastic, because people don't realize, because it's always easier to blame the others and expect the others to change. And please, anyone who is listening, please text us if you have any questions or comments for the show. I have it set up so that I can get your question and I can ask Dr. Greer any question that you may have. So please go ahead.
See, I'm totally free of blaming anyone. Judy, I will say that if somebody doesn't understand something I've said, I think it's your fault.
Oh, all right, so blame me. That's okay. That's your issue, not mine.
No, I'm kidding. You know, forgiveness is an interesting word, isn't it? It has the word give within the word forgiveness. The ability to forgive ourselves, the ability to forgive people who have harmed us, people who have made mistakes, people who have acted in a way that we don't think they should have acted. The ability to do that allows us to give. That's why the word give is within the word forgive.
So you're
So
saying,
I actually I have a definition. I have what's that?
can I ask you one quick question?
Yes.
All right, when you say forgive is what?
Okay,
What
I
is
actually found a good definition. I didn't memorize it, in all honesty, but the best definition I found of forgiveness is it's a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or group whom has harmed you, regardless of whether they deserve to be forgiven. And that's really important. It's not so much the anger in the moment when someone does something wrong, it's the holding on. Like Jerry Seinfeld says, the reservation of the rental car. It's the holding of the resentment. It's the holding on for days, weeks, months, years. People hold on to resentments for years, and it's toxic to the system. It's toxic to the brain. It's toxic to the soul.
How is it toxic? Can you give some examples of toxic? You and I both know, but I think our audience needs to really understand what the toxicity can do to you without realizing it.
Remember years ago, they had that commercial with a frying pan and an egg, and it said, "This is your brain." And they showed the egg, and then they showed it frying. "This is your brain on drugs."
Yes.
Any questions? I'm here to tell you that this is your brain on resentment. When we are in resentment, when we hold on to a resentment against somebody or something or a group or a country or a president or whoever, if we're holding on to a resentment, our brain chemistry is different. It's less healthy. We're preoccupied. We can't focus on things that are important. It takes up too much energy in the brain. So this is your brain on resentment. You know, picture a smiling face, right, and a frowning face. They say that, you know, it takes a lot less energy to smile. It's more healthy to the face to smile. That's just like it takes a lot more energy to hold on to resentment. It takes more energy to be angry. It takes more energy to point fingers. You know, when you're pointing your finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. So it's less healthy. And they have done studies, I think. I'm pretty sure they've done. But if they did studies, if they showed an MRI or a SPECT scan or a PET scan of the energy flow of the brain in resentment, and then they showed an MRI or a SPECT scan or a PET of the brain in gratitude, in love, in forgiveness, the latter brain would be much healthier. There is a toxicity to the brain. There is memory can be affected. Attention span can be affected. The ability to prioritize can be affected by holding on to resentments.
So what you're saying is, so people can kind of relate a little bit even more, is that toxicity or resentment is like a poison that you don't want to take in and keep taking it.
Well, holding on to a resentment is like taking poison, expecting the other person to die. But see, as I'm saying this, what I hear people saying, and there's a part of me that's thinking, well, wait a minute. Dr. Greer, you don't know what this person did to me. You don't understand the injustice. You don't understand. Don't you think that maybe I deserve, if this person took away my money or took away my home or kept stepping on me or don't I deserve to hold on to resentment? Don't I deserve to have anger towards that person? Well, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting totally. Forgiveness doesn't mean accepting the negative behavior and putting up with the negative behavior. Forgiveness means giving them the benefit of the doubt that it will never happen again. Forgiveness should be given when you see evidence that the person will not again do what they did to you. When you see evidence of that.
When you say that, it's really important because it's on a lot of families and relationships. What if you know from experience and by others' experiences and by what has been said, if they say it's over for life, do they really believe they will not change for life? Or is it something easy in the moment and then they got themselves caught up in that conviction that they really can't or really know how to undo what was said for life?
Well, I was reading the ticker taker here. It says something about let's talk about how we can have a positive outcome for resentment. We know we're not going to have a positive outcome if the person says, well, that's it. I'm holding on to that person's never going to change. I actually know somebody who he has 30 years of sobriety. And when I said, well, do you talk to your children? Do your children talk to you? He says, no, they think I'm still drinking. Well, wait a minute. It's been 30 years that you've been in recovery. I mean, have you given them evidence that you're in recovery? I mean, he didn't really want to, something was off. Something was off. But the point is, there are some people that will not accept that somebody can change. And as a matter of fact, if you think about it, I don't want to get too fancy, but there's something.
Let's keep it a little bit simple for our audience, because as they say, audience doesn't hear everything. They hear words here and there.
I think it's healthy for the person to give the person who has harmed them, who has made the mistake, give the person that they're resenting the benefit of the doubt that they very well could change. Part of our nature as human beings is the ability to look at our mistakes, review our life, and make changes. I mean, every morning we wake up, it's a new day. You know, every year is a new year to look at what are those things that we need to work on. Am I too full of pride and ego? Am I too greedy? Am I too envious and jealous? You know, am I too gluttonous?
Well, I can ask you a question, because that ties in. what about those who have such an ego that we know as the super ego or the id is really out of control? Is there any way that person can be reached?
There are some people, okay, there are some people, there's sociopathy, there's antisocial personality. There are some people who, despite therapy, despite medication, despite church or synagogue, they don't seem to really be able to change. I think that's rare. I think it's rare. I think the vast majority of people have the capacity to change. I have seen unbelievable miracles in the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, of Overeaters Anonymous, of Narcotics Anonymous. I have seen unbelievable change in psychotherapy when you combine the right ingredients of therapy and maybe a little bit of medication or nutritional supplements. Then you combine exercise, you combine meditation, you combine religious or spiritual processes, adherence, prayer, meditation. You put all those things together. I think there's almost anybody, if they're willing, they can change.
Then the key word is willing. Is that correct?
Yeah. They have to be willing. They have to be open-minded. They have to be able to let go and surrender. And you brought up a very good point. It's pride and ego. It's saying, well, I'm not going to look, that person won't let go of resentment. Well, I'm sorry. I've done everything I could. I apologized. I made amends. I did this. I did that. I'm not going to, that's their problem. That's their problem. Well, then, then they're holding on to a resentment to a person who's holding on to a resentment, So yes, so it starts with the willingness to accept amends. It starts with a willingness to change. Its willingness is on both sides. A person has to have a willingness to forgive someone. That takes a lot of will. That takes a lot of reason. But the important thing, what I really want to emphasize, is forgiveness is for the person who's forgiving. That's who it's for.
I want to say thank you. People, we're going to take a break, and I want you to hold on to willingness. And are you strong enough, and are you big enough to be willing to make that change? But we're going to take a quick break. I'm not going to go silent because we also are heard on our radio station that takes a break. So what I'm going to do is take a break and let you know a little bit about the Ask the Coach Judy Variety Show. The Coach Judy Variety Show began originally in 2002 as a weekly show with WBZT 12:30 a.m. with Clear Channel that is now iHeart. The show ran from 2002 to 2007. The show is always about providing the knowledge and information that you, the listener, needs so that you can achieve the success that you want. And at this time, I'd like to announce that if you would like to become an active member of our audience and have a membership and receive great benefits by our guests that are on the show, as well as by our new vendors for our new vendor member directory that we are in the process of creating, please know you can join and take advantage of the benefits being offered. Please go to the website www.coachjudy.info and click on Talk Show. And you can click on the other pages to see what we have to offer if you would like to see about becoming a member. We are also doing charter members. The first, I would say, instead of the first, those who sign up to become a charter member between today, September 13th, and October 13th will get a special promotional fee of a $9.95 membership fee. Once we go to the middle of October, our rates may go up. So take advantage, become a member of our membership audience, because you're going to see great benefits that we will announce on another show. And if you join, you will get the updated information before anything is announced on our show. So please consider joining the Coach Judy Audience Membership Program. At the website you see there, it's www.coachjudy.info. Now I'd like to bring back my guest, Dr. Brian Greer, and we were focused on the willingness to change, the willingness to forgive, and how can I go and actually forgive. But it's important to understand something, what forgiveness is about and what it's the opposite of. So Dr. Greer, can you tell our listening audience what is the opposite of forgiveness of ourselves?
Well, the opposite of forgiveness is actually resentment. And what I'm holding on to right now that I think is important is that the willingness for me to forgive someone has to come from me understanding that it's healthy for me, that I'm going to feel better, I'm going to live better if I forgive. Because if the person holds on to, well, that person doesn't deserve for me to forgive them, they don't deserve it, then they're going to hold on. If they think it's for them, then they're going to hold on to that resentment. If they realize, since we're all selfish, I mean, come on, let's.
Yeah, you're hopefully normal.
I mean, I might not be much, but at least I'm all I think about. So if I know that the forgiving process is for me, it's therapeutic for me, then I'm going to be more willing to go through that forgiveness. And a very important, and this is very valuable. This is like maybe $300. This one, a very good way to make an amend, a very good way to ask for forgiveness yourself, is to sit down across from the person and say a very simple statement. I hope you can forgive me for not treating you with the respect that you deserved.
Now I have to ask you a question. If you cannot get that person, because they are so angry at you for years, to come and meet you halfway at the table, can you send them a letter or a note or text or something to get them to at least even engage so that you can come together and sit down, which is the ideal way. But I know too many people, personally and professionally, who are not going to make a move at all.
That's a very good question. It's a very common occurrence. And I'll use the model of the 12 steps. You know, the 12 steps, it says made a list. The 8th step is made a list of people we'd harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. And then the 9th step is made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. There are some people that if you need to forgive, it might not be the best thing for them at that time. And I think writing a letter is a good idea. Maybe it's a start. You know, the wonderful thing about the 12 steps, for instance, there's 12 months in a year. So every year you can maybe, you know, things get better, things, God willing, and things will improve. You could give it a go again. But today it might not be right to ask forgiveness for a person. It might take a little bit of time to forgive. I mean, the brain is such that we have certain chemical messengers in the brain in different times. When we're in that anger, I can't believe he did that. Maybe that just needs to be let go and pass. You can't immediately forgive someone. So it's all, I think timing is a very important part of this.
I guess your question though, because we are in a pandemic in 2020. A lot of people, as you know, we see it on TV, if you do watch TV or hear what's going on or on the social media, all the anger that's going on across the country. How do we make this pandemic time be the opportunity to forgive? Because one never knows if they're going to get hit by the COVID and whether or not they're going to survive. Nobody can say 100%. So how can we take advantage of this pandemic into all positive and create that forgiveness with those who have not been a part of our life, whether it's family, friends, business associates, whoever it may be? How does one would you suggest during the pandemic, and use the pandemic maybe as the reason why to get things rolling and create maybe a movement of our own here?
I haven't the slightest idea. No, that's a very good question. It's a very good question. It has to, no matter what the external circumstances. Look, I have a friend who's a 93-year-old Holocaust survivor, and I ask him, how do you possibly forgive? How do you possibly go on? You know, I mean, there are external circumstances that are horrid, that are terrible. But here's the thing. I call it the hula hoop philosophy. It's the hula hoop method. Imagine you're in a hula hoop. And anything inside that hula hoop, yourself, your health, your habits, what you eat, what you think, what you're sleeping, your attitude, all of that is within the attitude. Is within the hula hoop, and it's something that you can change, you can control, you can work on. Anything outside of that hula hoop, who is the president? There's a pandemic, there's this, there's that, there's the Democrats, there's the Republicans, there's this, I can't believe that Publix doesn't have a buy one, get one free, whatever the situation is. If it's something, that's why the Serenity Prayer is so beautiful. If it's something that I don't have any control over, it's a waste of time and effort to talk about my opinion, to get into that anger, negative state. There's enough to focus on with those things that we can change, like our daily habits and like our attitude and like our relationships and like letting go of resentments. Those are things we can change. I have no idea what this pandemic is all about, when it's going to blow over, what is the cause, whether the virus was synthesized, whether it came from the planet Venus. I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm a medical doctor. I mean, you know, my father was a virologist, a microbiologist. He knew a lot about this stuff. We don't know. The experts are not agreeing. One expert says one thing, another expert says another thing. So we have to hold on and exert effort and energy to those things that we can change, that we do have influence over. And if we stay in that hula hoop of things that we can change, then we're going to improve and increase our ability to make changes in our life. And then gradually, through a ripple effect, maybe we will be able to change more than we thought.
Well, then I got to say, and I'm going to throw it out there, as one who has dealt with a lot of these type of things that we're talking about and dealing with some who have said it's for life, is the fact that by doing and taking charge help motivate you to know that it's actually empowering yourself if you can take that step. Because once we begin to empower ourselves, all types of opportunities and doors open that we would not have ever expected if we didn't take that step. So it could be a real challenge, but a gift to yourself by thinking and then acting on with some people potentially who are refusing to forgive, but take that first step because maybe they just don't know how, and a part of them would like to. So you be the bigger person and you take that step, because again, I can only say from firsthand experience, when you get the knowledge or the facts, as I say, it empowers you in so many ways. It also changes the brain chemistry into functioning better, and the stresses that and the issues that Dr. Greer was talking about earlier, what it does to you could actually maybe counteract because you are empowering yourself and letting go of conscious or unconscious stresses that you're not even aware of.
You said that very well, conscious and unconscious. And I like that word, empower. The thing is, I'm empowering myself if I look at eating a little bit healthier, and because that's empowering myself because it's something I can change. I'm not empowering myself if I increase my anger at the opposite political party. That's disempowering.
But it also is that you're in control, and people forget that they are totally in control of everything that they do, and that they think they have no power or control, or the other one has the power or control. When really, getting back to, it's about the centering of yourself, of really being able to have the control, because everybody loves control, and yet people don't realize all of us, our children, even our pets, have control.
God has no grandchildren. We're all children of God. I think the magic word is fear. I think what causes people to hold on to resentments is this pride and ego, and it's fear. I think the first step is asking myself, what am I afraid of? What am I if I forgive this person amid the terrible things they did? What am I afraid might happen if I really do that? If I get into what they call radical forgiveness?
Hold on to that thought. What am I afraid of? I'm going to take another break and let you know that if you would like to be a part of the Coach Judy Variety Show, be on the show with your business, or get your business out and reach our listeners who are going to be our audience members and part of our membership, that I'd like you to reach out to us, whether you're a small business, a large business, an international business. Just have your main office right here in the United States, and your business can become another voice like Dr. Greer is on the show and provide valuable knowledge and empowerment in your area of specialty. Because if you do, you're going to be empowering yourself, your employees, and the bottom line is you're going to increase reaching the consumers that you want to help and benefit. And in turn, the long run, we all know what comes when we give and we sell what we have to offer. So I suggest to anybody who's listening out there, if you have a business or you know a business, to please contact us at coachjudy.info or call 561-441-8557. It's on your screen, and let us know. I also want to add, we are looking for people who want to go out as an independent contractor and help bring in business and also be a benefit to themselves, because today so many people are looking for work and they need extra income. We are the show, we are the place to do, because I'm going to let you know, we are, Coach Judy created a one-stop shop program for businesses of all sizes, for individuals, and for anyone who wants to change the life of someone else. So please get involved, become a part of the team with Dr. Greer and myself and others that are coming to come on board, and let's the Coach Judy Live Variety Show be the show that changes the lives, as we are here today. And for those who are not able to listen, please know, spread the word, because we are on demand 24/7 on YouTube. And we are also on the radio station Going Solo, which will be running the Tuesdays and Friday nights. I'm waiting to get the time. So we are a force. We're creating a stronger force, and we are going to be the ones that are going to help the others bring change, peace, and happiness to ourselves. Because if we find peace and happiness and have the tools to deal with all these different challenges we talk about on the show, then you're going to always feel inner peace, no matter what heartache you may be facing. And now I want to bring it back to Dr. Greer and talk about fear and being afraid to take that step. And how can you or I or anyone you know can take that step and bring that change? Because please know, holding on to anger, resentment, and any other negative feelings is really hurting you. It's just an unconscious hurt that you're not aware of, and you're venting it in different ways or preventing success in different ways that you have no idea you're doing. And I just want to add one other thing, and then we're going definitely back to Dr. Greer. I am a cognitive trainer for the brain. And if you want to know more what that is and what I can do from life experience, please go to the website at coachjudy.info. That's the end of the pitching. I just wanted to make sure we didn't interfere and take extra time at the beginning and lose you and think, oh, it's all about advertising. No, we're about giving you the facts so you can act and achieve success no matter what it is. And Dr. Greer in his segment, Lightening Up, is helping our listeners to bring the changes they want so they can have the peace and tranquility in their life, as we brought Dr. Greer and I are doing today.
You call this a team? We're a team. Oh my God, we're a team.
Yes,
I mean, team. I mean, there's no I in team, right? But you know what the word team reminds me of is that, you know, someone I like that quote, that sometimes to make a change, it takes a village. Sometimes it really takes a large group of people. It takes people working in collaboration. Now, overcoming fear, the beautiful acronym for fear, FEAR, false expectations appearing real.
Want to say that again, please?
Fear is false expectations appearing real. So much of what we fear will happen, especially between people. Like when we come to things like, oh my God, if I forgive that person, then I don't know. What am I afraid of? So, you know, ask yourself, what am I afraid of if I let go of that resentment? Fear is also a state that's unhealthy. Oh my God, so much. Xanax is prescribed, Klonopin, Valium. You know, I mean, my little pitch is there are natural, healthy nutritional supplements to deal with feelings of anxiety. There's a difference. What is the difference between fear? Let me ask you, Judy. What's the difference between fear and anxiety?
Fear is the act of is the feeling of the unknown. And because of different life experiences, you feel that something's going to happen to you. When you're fearful, you think something's going to happen and you don't know what it's going to be. So you fearful and scared. And being scared is a strong emotion. And all of us, no matter who you are, whether you got that super ego or you're a very shy, insecure person, we all have all of these emotions and capabilities, but it's the knowledge to know how to use them and not let them have control over you as a person, especially if they are negative behaviors, actions, comments, anything that's negative that can affect somebody else negatively, and most important, affects you negatively, because again, you're the one who's getting hurt.
Good. I'm going to extrapolate from what you said.
Okay.
Kind of a simplify is that fear is being afraid of something that is real. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Fear is something like, I'm afraid that lion is going to eat me. I'm afraid I might fall off this balcony. I'm afraid that if I take that plane ride, the plane will crash. That's something specific that I know what I'm afraid of. Anxiety is a sense, an uncomfortable sense of spilkies in the stomach, of palpitations, your heart's beating. It's a feeling that I'm afraid, but I have no idea what I'm afraid of. That's anxiety. That's what they treat with Xanax, which, by the way, is Xanax. They took the first three letters of anxiety and they made a word that spells backwards and forwards. And Xanax and Klonopin and Valium and these things. So much of that negative feeling state could be helped through exercise, through eating right. There are some specific nutritional supplements that I won't mention, but call me and I'll talk to you about them.
I'm glad you said that, because that's the great thing is, as a coach, I work at one spectrum. Dr. Greer gets into the medical and really can diagnose and treat the actual medical disorder or issues that are going on.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with those medicines that I mentioned. There's a time and a place. If somebody has an acute event, a really bad event, something really bad happens, maybe they can take some Klonopin for a few days. Maybe they could take some Xanax to take the edge off for a few days to get back on their feet. But the studies show that 40 minutes a day, 3 days a week for 6 months of walking, of brisk walking, is just as effective as these medications, if not more effective, and certainly doesn't have any side effects. So exercise, meditation, eating right, fruits and vegetables, cutting down saturated fats, all of these things are very important in helping overcoming fear, along with therapy. Psychotherapy and counseling is very, very important. Can make a tremendous effect. But anything on a spiritual path, anything that is therapy, anything that is self-improvement, life coaching, therapy, counseling, group therapy, all of those things help us shift from fear to faith and positivity and love. You know, some people say, look, you want to boil it down, I'll tell you, with all of therapy, with all religion, with all spirituality, it's a matter of you can choose fear or you can choose faith and love, and which is another word for God, for those who believe. So it's one or the other. You know, there's really nothing in between. It's pretty simple. And I do believe that what gets in the way of people forgiving that's the fear choice. Holding on for time memorial, for over time, holding on to resentments is because of a fear, and the person might not even be aware of what they're afraid of. That's the benefit of life coaching or counseling or talking it out. What am I afraid of? Why am I holding on to that resentment and not forgiving?
And I'm going to add as a cognitive trainer, I'm going to make a suggestion. Is instead of thinking about it, get yourself a piece of paper and something to write with and start writing them down, because that can also create a greater awareness of what is happening. Because if you keep it all in the mind and thinking it through the mind versus writing it down, it doesn't have the same impact. But when you can look at something and see maybe even a pattern, it's going to give you greater knowledge, and it's also going to release some of the confusion that may be in your brain that's affecting you in being productive or getting sick, whatever it may be.
Change a muscle, move a muscle, and change a thought. When we act, when we get moving, when we go to the person's house, knock on the door and say, look, come on, give me a hug. Let's get over this. Doing something, actions speak louder than words, is much, much more healthy and productive than staying here. So much of us, we go through life, especially now in the COVID virus and the quarantine, we sit and we do the mental masturbation thing. You know, we stay here. We were like walking heads. You know, we forget that we have a heart and we have, you know, a whole body. We have legs. To move. You know, if when in doubt, do something. When in doubt, move. When in doubt, knock on the person that you're having a resentment. Knock on their door and say, hi, let's just be in the here and now. Forget the past. Give me a hug. Let's move forward.
Well, I have
about moving forward.
I have to give you a discredit on that, only because of the fact that if you're dealing with people who are hostile, who are mental, or
well, you make it shot. That's true. You make it
have a gun or whatever is what I'm referring to. Don't do it, Brian. Don't do that. And as I'm doing that as a disclaimer, we're not telling you to go to a place that you know may be dangerous to your well-being and try this. Write a letter. Don't.
Well, thank you. See, that's what I mean by it takes a village. I think if a person's in recovery, they have to ask their sponsor. If a person's in therapy, they have to talk about it with a therapist. Other people maybe discuss it with a friend. I'm not saying just spontaneously, impulsively, just go without running it by. You know, my view before I knew anything about 12-step recovery, my view was select 2 friends that I trust and talk about it. Should I go over there and give them a hug and forget? Like, what should I do? Give me some feedback. We need to get more reality checks. We need to be more transparent and be open and honest with these things and not hold on to them. Because to hold on, that's what the reason why cancer is called malignant is because it's silent, it's hidden. It doesn't present itself. It's kept within, it's kept inside. We have to open up, connect, talk about it. I'm having some thoughts about forgiving such and such. What do you think? Get professional advice, get friend advice, get advice from people that we trust.
I'm glad you said that, because I know, without going into details, because of thinking I could trust certain parties, it ended up leading into creating the National Single Parent Resource Center and the talk show that we've been doing since 2002.
I didn't know. For instance, Thank God for Facebook. I know some people have something against Facebook, but if it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't have discovered you.
Right.
And what I like about you, Judy, is that you persevere. If something goes wrong, you just work through it and you keep going, and you don't care too much about what people think. You know what's right, and you do the best that you can do, and despite adversity. It's all about what we do despite adversity. It's not waiting for adversity to go away. It's walking through the adversity, which is what I see you doing.
Exactly. And I want to say that adversity, you don't forget it, but you don't let it have control over. I mean, it's always there in the back of your mind, but if you let it to be the forefront, that's when you get into trouble. But if you can also, which has been helpful to me in deal with all the different challenges, is that I say to myself, how can I turn this into something positive? Whether it's a program, whether it is just a different thought process or a word, well, that's something positive. I'm going to give you an example. One reason why I didn't do a show last month at the end is that I have a little dog, Ruby. She was the love of my life. She became ill. Everything in my time was given to her, and she passed away. Now, to do something special in her honor, because she was a special girl, here's an example that I'm going to be doing, and then in turn it's going to help all kinds of different animal lovers who love their animals, who don't know what they may need to do or want to become an animal lover. I have created, and we will be doing it once we get a sponsor, Ruby's Pet Corner, or Ruby's Pet Potpourri Corner, because we're going to talk about all kinds of things. And there I'm giving this little dog who passed a special place that is positive, so that I don't have to think about her loss, but the positive of who she was, being a positive force in today's world today for others.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, pets are so innocent. You know, my father used to say, my goal in life is to get everybody to treat me the way my dog treats me.
Well, dogs don't know of hate unless you treat them with hate and abuse them. And then if you do, which I may be doing, is adopting a rescue dog, is that if they've been abused, all they want is love. So if you want to feel or give love, what's the greater way but to help an animal that has been abused and needs that love to survive?
Something is Thank you. Something is motivating me to repeat the little easy way of asking forgiveness. And I'll say this to you, Judy, because before the show, we got into a little, I lost it a little bit on the phone. I hope you can forgive me. I hope you can forgive me for not treating you with the respect that you deserved. That's a good way to say it, at least for a start. And remember, we have to forgive ourselves first.
That is true. If you can't forgive yourself, you can't be true to you, and you can't be true to others, and you won't get the success that you're trying to get. So again, I'm glad you said that, Brian. And again, I accept your apology, as it was the timing of what you were doing versus what I was having to do to get ready. But again, that's the way we work. So I'm going to give you another example. I have it with a family member. So we can get along and avoid the problems, is that we agreed that we disagree, so that we know we're not going to agree on a lot of things, but we're not going to let those disagreements interfere in having a wonderful, loving relationship.
Yeah, and also with that, it's funny. I have to forgive myself for leaving the oven on. I gotta turn the oven off in 1 second, because this is like sizzling. This turkey leg is sizzling. Actually, the Torah talks about the person has an obligation to accept the forgiveness. If they say, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to accept your apology, that's not good. That's really not healthy. If the person is making an honest effort, we're supposed to accept, if it's an honest effort, the person should at least try their best. Because that to forgive, to err, to make an error, to mistake, to err is human, and to forgive is divine.
And I want to also say this to people because, if something doesn't work, I've always said this as a divorce and single parents that I was coaching, which I'm an expert in, is that you have to do what feels right for you and accept that if it doesn't work, to pat yourself on the back or on your chest, wherever it is, or give yourself a hug because you know that you did the right thing. And as long as you know you're doing the right things and you're doing it from the heart, and because you care, then there's no reason to feel guilty or bad if the other person or anything else in life doesn't go your way, because at least you put forth that effort and you did your best. And that's all we can do is do our best. If you don't do your best, that's a different story. But I believe, and it's worked for me, and it's opened the world to me, is doing my best, caring about others, even though they may not care about me or agree with me, and not to do anything to hurt them, but do what I have to do to protect myself if they were taking actions directly to cause harm.
That's it. That's one of the 4 agreements. That's one of those famous 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't assume anything, and always do your best. Because if I always do my best, then I can look back and I don't have any regrets. I don't have any guilt, and I don't have any control. We don't have any control if we ask for an amend, if we apologize, if we try to replace what we took from the person. We have 0 control. We should let go of any expectations of what the outcome of that will be. But at least we'll know that we tried, we did our best, we exerted an effort, and maybe it has to happen several times. Maybe it's an ongoing process, but it's the holding on of that resentment that is toxic. It's lethal. It causes heart disease. Trust me, it causes heart disease and brain stuff, depression, anxiety.
Exactly. So those who are watching or know somebody who's feeling down or depressed, let me make a suggestion that you can do that's positive, and you never know what it's going to do. Send them the link from YouTube, the show. You don't have to say anything. Just say, I believe this is very valuable information. It's your choice as to whether or not you'd like to watch it. But please know I did it because I care. That's all you have to do to anybody. And they can't fault you. They can't use it against you. They can't attack you, because the key thing is that I learned those who did attack me verbally, physically, and attempted emotionally, their lives are the ones that ended up falling apart and having unexpected problems because of their actions and anger and resentment towards me. And what did it do for me? It created a career. It created finding myself. It created learning so much that it really became an opportunity to find out who Judy Romanoff is, that I didn't know before, but was capable of if the right stimulants and the right people had been in my life. So remember that just because of one thing happened before doesn't mean you can't change and grow from your experiences and be even more than what you thought you were.
Yeah, one thing I like is you have the female perspective and I have the male perspective.
I'm a female.
Sometimes what happens with this forgiveness process is magic. Sometimes what happens is, please forgive me. The other person will then come clean with their role in things, with their part in it. They will start admitting things that maybe they need to admit for themselves. They see by example, wow, he's being honest. He's at least trying to get me to forgive him. Wow. Well, let me be clear with him on some things that I realized that I did. That's very often what happens in the amend process in the 12-step program, by the way, is people start saying, thank you for saying that. Thank you. I've been wondering if you were ever going to apologize or make an amend. And let me share with you what I've been thinking about what happened between the two of us. It's amazing what happens sometimes. It brings people closer together.
It is. It's the least unexpected is what's going to happen. And the thing is like, don't have any preconceived ideas, but because whatever is going to happen is what's supposed to happen. But again, I have to stress it because it's what I learned growing up. I'm glad I learned that from growing up. And I have to thank my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, for that more than anything, is they taught love and to give and to help others because of the wonderful things that you are doing to change and impact people's life and how it makes you feel on the inside. And you don't need anybody to pat you on the back. Pat yourself on the back. That's the most important. And if others see
it's kind of hard to reach.
Yeah,
I'll try to pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
But forgiveness comes from love, and resentment comes from fear. It's that simple.
And I guess and I'm going to put this out to you because we've got about another 5 minutes left for you to think about. Say to yourself, do I have people that I'd like to have them forgive me? Do I have people I want to forgive? How do I do it? Well, now, as I said before, we've given you that tool that you can use to initiate a change in a relationship with others you care about. So remember, we are a tool for you, just like the other shows that Dr. Greer and I have done and other shows that are up on YouTube. They're all about knowledge so you can move forward and not stay stagnant.
It starts with staying calm and asking, praying for the willingness to forgive. That's the way it starts.
Okay. And again, I also have to add this. It's when you have the knowledge, know where to get the knowledge. You have a piece of, I know where to reach out to get that information. And that is key because I had somebody through Facebook. She's got a problem, not a single parent problem. It's a dog problem. It's a condo problem. Instead of ignoring her, because I understand what it is to love an animal, I then reached out to her and I gave her some basic tips of direction so that she can move forward and do things and feel that she has some control. Whether the outcome's going to work for her or not, we don't know, but at least it's giving her some tools and knowledge that she can move forward in some way.
That's good. I'm noticing the symmetry. I think next time I need to match like the distance, I think that like I need to get a chair. I like that chair with a back, because if I had the same kind of chair and we were like in the same distance from the camera, so I'm noticing the details. It's important. Symmetry is very important.
Exactly. And I would tell you, it's an executive chair that I got way back early in my career. It's not in the greatest shape, but it was like, I'm not giving it up. It's comfortable. It works for me. And I'm not going to worry about the condition that it's in.
Well, you're the chairperson, so you should have a better chair.
Well, let's put it this way. When we get more sponsors and advertisers and get donations into the National Single Parent Resource Center, we're going to have a lot more. We're going to have a chair. We're going to have technical people who will be helping us do and add in the commercials and a lot more. But as they say, and as I told somebody that called me the other day to learn more, I said, it's taking it one step at the time, doing it right, and building on that rather than doing it in haste and losing out. So that's why we do things the way we are. And if something doesn't come out right, well, guess what? We did our best. And I do want to remind you that this show is on demand, so you can watch it again because we've given you a lot of information. Is there a last-minute joke that you would like to give our listeners on forgiveness, as we've been talking about such heavy subjects today?
A joke about forgiveness?
Yeah.
I asked my wife to forgive me because I replaced our bed with a trampoline and she hit the roof.
So you like to jump.
He hit the roof. That's actually a G-rated joke. But I'm
glad because we don't.
I want people to know there can be, have hope, have optimism, have faith. Ask for if you don't feel like forgiving, at least ask for the willingness to forgive. At least ask for just think about forgiveness. You can have a positive outcome. You can.
And just even talking and thinking about forgiveness provides a positive mindset as well.
Exactly. And it's all about a positive mindset. I'm positive that it's about a positive mindset. Are you
And I'm
sure?
gonna,
I'm
and
positive.
I'm gonna share something else with you, because I always have. Unfortunately, my life is because, and what I do is because from what I've been through, and I want to share this with you. One of the things my mother said to me, it's on my website too, and a few other things. Before she passed, and we had our challenges like a lot of mothers and daughters. She said to me, she says, Judy, you're the most positive person I know in the world. I won't add the other comment because it wasn't flattering, but it was reality, but it's nobody's business. But again, by thinking positive, life is not as hard. No matter what you are going through, if people are hating you, if you are trying to get physically well, if you are dealing with difficult people, or if you are having fun with your family, your children, your grandchildren, or friends, whatever it is, that positive energy is so important because it radiates out. If I wasn't positive, I couldn't be speaking and looking and doing what I'm doing, because I too am dealing with challenges, but I won't let those challenges stop me from doing what I like and enjoy and being good at, because it is my motivation. It is an asset. And whatever is an asset to you that motivates you, it's okay, even if the other person or anybody else doesn't like it.
We're all dealing with it. We're all dealing with challenges. We're all dealing with struggles. We have to change our internal AA batteries. Attitude adjustment. Change your AA batteries and adjust to a good, positive, healthy attitude. It's okay to be pissed off sometimes too, but we have to at least strive to maintain positivity.
That is so true. And again, Dr. Greer, thank you so much for doing our show. The title, Lightening Up.
Lighten up. That's right. Lighten up. Don't take life so seriously. Thank you for reminding me that.
You're welcome. And also, I'd like you to give our listeners your phone number. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, because I know people like what you have to say, please give your phone number so people can reach you as well.
Oh, give my phone number?
Give your phone number out.
My phone number is 954-864-2206.
Could you repeat it?
We talk about letting go of fear and giving out my phone number, but what can happen? There's what can happen.
Listen, my number's out all over the world from what I've been doing, and now I have a new personal number I got to start giving out to my personal life rather than the number I've got here. So again, say it one more time for our listeners can really understand and maybe even have a chance to write it down.
What, my phone number?
Yeah, your phone number.
Isn't it amazing? I've actually memorized my phone number. It's 954-864-2206.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
11 is my favorite number, by the way.
All right. 2s and 4s are mine. So thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy day to come on our show. And I want to say and bring up an idea to you that just came into my mind. Since not a lot of people are able to interact with us now, I would like to set up for us to rerun this show and go live with it and do a watch party so more people can get involved, text us questions, and we can answer them while they are watching the show. What do you think, Dr. Greer? Would you like to do something like that?
It makes me feel like a surgeon when I wear this mask, by the way.
Well, you are a doctor.
You're a psychiatrist. I don't get to operate on people. They said they invited me to open mic. I didn't realize it was actually a surgery. Poor Mike.
Right.
Yeah. I would love to do that.
All right, we're going to set a date and time, and we're going to do a watch party because what we talked about here is so unbelievable that everyone can benefit. I just want to also, again, give our website and give you another pitch of information you may not know. I started my career as a single parent and having to use the legal system and being successful in the legal system. Out of that came the National Single Parent Resource Center that's been honored nationally with the Phoenix Award, because as they say, we rise out of the ashes and we become a phoenix. And to help other single parents who need support and knowledge and don't have the means, I have a scholarship that I named like 8-9 years ago. And now today, with the Coach Judy Variety Show and developing sponsors and advertisers and vendor members with our vendor member director of services, a portion of that will go to the National Single Parent Resource Center for operation, and a percentage will go into the PMA fund. The PMA stands for Programs and Materials for Dealing with Abuse. And that's another big subject we'll talk about, because lots of people don't even realize they're being abused. As a matter of fact, I didn't know I was when I was growing up, as an example.
That's a good topic for our next show, is abuse, the various forms of abuse and what to do about it.
It's great because it's close to my heart in many different ways. So so I'm going to give you the website that you can go to and link over to our PayPal account if you'd like to make a donation so we can help, especially today with the pandemic, the parents and the children of single parent families. They need it the most. We are looking for people to help us run groups for the parents who cannot afford the individual needs that are out there that we also offer through the National Single Parent Resource Center. So know that no matter where you come from, no matter what life you've lived, you have the opportunity to bring change. If I can do it from being a very shy, insecure person and child growing up to being the opposite, I know that we and the others that we will bring in as a team will be able to help you reach whatever it is that you are reaching for, whether it is personally or in your business to expand and grow. Because I'm going to just announce this. When you become a vendor member of the Vendor Member Directory of Services, and you become an audience member by going to our website and joining with the cost, and we're doing a special up through October 13th, you'll have the opportunity to get to know face-to-face with our sponsors, advertisers, and businesses that are listed, and with you, the audience, and the consumers, and creating a win-win for everybody. I don't know where you can go and have that as a benefit with a talk show, with an award-winning nonprofit organization, as well as other entities that will be coming into play, because now we have Dr. Brian Greer working with us as well. So again,
thank you. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care if Oprah Winfrey calls me again to be on the show. I'm sticking with you.
That's right. You were on Oprah Winfrey's show, and I've been called the Oprah of South Florida. And if you think I'm just joking or kidding, no, I do have a letter that proves that I was called the Oprah South Florida. Because one thing I want people to know, whatever I say, I stay with facts. I stay with the truth, and I can back it up. So again,
I believe you.
I know you believe me. I want our listeners.
Well, how about Judge Judy? I like Judge Judy. How about the Judge Judy of the Northeast or wherever?
Well, all right, you're giving us that title too. Let me just say as I tell people, when they say Judge Judy, I say, well, you need to come to Coach Judy to get the information and knowledge you need so you can stay out of Judge Judy's court. We're about giving you facts.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to be in front of that woman. Oh, boy.
Oh, no, but I'm telling you, I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to see if there's some way I can bring her on, because as a matter of fact, we even had Steve Jobs on my show way back when.
Yeah.
Yes, we literally, people can't believe it, but yes, yours truly, Coach Judy, interviewed Steve Jobs when he was building his stores and being in South Florida. He was on not too long before or not too long after when he opened up here in Boca Raton, Florida. So he definitely was on. I did interview him. I do interview national and international celebrities and experts because of the fact that I reached out. I was not afraid because I built positive energy and confidence, and I had the control to do things the way one should do it. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, and I don't know everything. But Coach Judy does her best to do the best for you and make a difference in your life so you can feel and achieve whatever it is that you want. Just reach out. I'm going to give the website again, and then we're going to sign off because I've gotten a little carried away, but I'm a talker.
No, I'm impressed. We got to work on our George, what is it called? George Burns and Grace. Say goodnight.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll do our George Burns and Gracie Allen routine too.
Yeah, we'll do that one of those days on the show. Maybe we'll do an impromptu show and we'll do some humor on and have some.
What's looking at you, kid?
Yeah, well, here's to you. It's a website for all information for businesses, for audience membership, National Single Parent Resource Center, and an inside look to who is Coach Judy. Please go to coachjudy.info. We care about you, and you begin caring about others, and let's be a force to bring change, forgiveness, and positive energy, not just to the listeners, but across the globe, because our show is heard in other countries. So please
lighten up, everybody.
Lighten up. Enjoy life, even though we may be stuck at home or we can't do what we want because of COVID. Know that you have the choice to make it a great life. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Greer.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Bye. All right. We're not learning.
Thank you.
Thank you.